Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at Ask Adam Torres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Shiv Gettu on the line, and he's founder over at Astro. Shiv, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adam. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So excited to get into the story of how you're building this brand, Astro. Let's just jump right in. So tell us a little bit more about Astro and why you founded the company, please.
Yeah, totally. So Astro is a Airbnb property management company. So we service over 13 cities right now across the country. We raised a little bit of money, about $800,000, to further our idea about 4 months ago. I quit my job about 4 months ago as well. So we did a lot of the bulk of building the business when we were working full time, which I think could inspire your audience if they think they have a full time job. You guys always have time on the side. And yeah, I was kind of inspired to start Astro because of the need for an additional source of income. I didn't necessarily want to rely on my job only. I know people talk about job security, but I thought it was inherently risky to have only one source of income. So I kind of built Astro on the side to provide that additional source, and then realized that this was more than just another source of income for me. I was actually becoming passionate about building this business and building the team. So that's kind of why we started it. When I say we, it's me and my business partner, Kendrick, and co-founder.
Man, I love this story. I love to hear when somebody has an idea, they have another job, and they just go after it. Like, because I feel like so many people make excuses for why they can't do something, or they're busy, or this or that. I'm guessing that when you were building Astro and taking it from zero to six figures in revenue, you didn't in less than a year. You weren't like just sitting on your hands. You had other things to do, right?
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what I want to inspire some of your audience about is you don't necessarily need to do this whole traditional quit your job and start a business and take that massive leap of faith if you're not necessarily risk prone for that. You know, you could always dedicate your free time. We were burning the midnight oil, evenings on weekdays and weekends, constantly grinding. But, it was less than a year of hard work that kind of reaped this opportunity for me to have my own schedule and build my business and take it full on from there.
Tell us a little bit more about the about the Airbnb market and about your niche. I don't want to assume everybody listening is completely familiar with it.
Totally. Yeah. So Airbnb is, hopefully most of you know, but if you don't, Airbnb is a company that basically allows hosts like yourself, anyone who owns real estate, to put their property on this platform to allow people from all over the world to stay at their home, right? So let's say you have an empty bedroom that is not being used and you don't want to necessarily get into a year-long lease. You can put it on Airbnb and have people stay there from all over the world. So what we do is we work with owners who own property all over the world, or right now actually all over the country, but maybe all over the world soon, to manage this Airbnb process for them, right? Because you're having constantly turns, cleanings, guest messaging. You're almost running a hotel, right? So sometimes owners want to get into the business, but they don't necessarily think they have the time, nor do they want to put in the work to do it. So we kind of help owners take advantage of the increased profit margins. You typically see anywhere from 1.5x to 3x revenue from your long-term rental. So we help owners kind of manage the property, full service, furnish it if it's not furnished, et cetera.
No, I love it, and what I love about it is that you're really filling the need. So it's the equivalent of this. If you owned a apartment building out there, you wouldn't want to have to deal with getting that leased up. You're going to hire a professional management company. So in this case, it's a little bit even more work intensive. But why? Because there's more margin there. So when you think of a hotel and think about something like that, for some of those property owners out there that are listening right now and haven't considered Airbnb or management, think about it this way. You may have somebody that's just staying for the week, but you may make as much for that week that you would make on an entire month, depending on the property, depending on a lot of other things. You might make as much as you make the entire month, but it's only occupied that week. But now you have the headache of you have to have the property, as you said, turned over, which means for the non-hospitality people, to have cleaned, to have all the bedding, to have everything else, appropriate for the next guest that's going to come in. So it's very labor intensive. But what I love is that with a company like Astro, you don't have to worry about that part. So that's the whole point. They get it done for you, so you're not dealing with that, and you can deal with it more of as a passive investment. Because I've seen some people that have done this that work with other companies like yours and kind of in this niche, and they love it. Like, they love it. They're like, oh, man, this is great. And depending on the property, depending on where it's at, it just kind of opens up the possibilities of what can be done amenities-wise and otherwise. So, Shiv, what's your plan for the company next? I mean, you're 13-plus cities. I mean, what's your plan going? We're beginning of the 2020 kind of. What's the plan for the rest of 2020?
Yeah, so with this new money we got, we're really looking to expand our unit count in the southeast area. We have my co-founder just moved to Nashville, actually, to open up some of our operations there. We're looking to get to about 250 units under management. We've also seen a lot of interest in multifamily syndications. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but syndicating money to buy apartments. So you basically raise the down payment money for apartments from owners. But I think the twist that we're going to add, since we're specialized in furnished housing, is turn multifamily syndications, but have an emphasis on furnished housing. So the yield, NOI, net operating income of the building, it multiplies. And when you sell the building, the value of the building multiplies as well. So we're really excited to release this product for our investors. We're expanding multifamily syndication and looking to get to about 250 units by the end of 2020 under management.
I'm just curious, is the South, you said you're looking more in the Southeast, Southwest in terms of expansion, is that right?
Yeah, Southeast. We're open
Southeast, okay.
Southeast right now, Nashville, Florida, Atlanta. But, we have a lot of stuff on the West Coast. We're looking very heavily in Reno, too. So if anyone owns property in Reno, we're happy to take a look. But, yeah, typically the process is we speak to the owner. We understand their portfolio. We get the addresses and the unit mix, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, and actually do a very detailed proposal, which explains, how much money it would be to put in, what the revenue they should expect to generate, so what the payback is, et cetera. So you'll get kind of a full understanding of the profitability of your unit if it was converted into kind of a short-term rental.
Are I'm just curious about geography. Are they on the Southeast a little bit more friendly towards Airbnb or zoning laws? I mean, it's kind of, because out here I know like California, it's getting tricky. Like everything here is tricky, right? They ruin everything, is what I say. But
right.
but how's it look on that side of the country?
Totally, yeah, and that's one of the pushes, the reasons why we're kind of moving towards that area. I mean, some cities want it because it generates what's called a TOT, transient occupancy tax, for the city. So they typically take 12% on top of your accommodation fare, which is, quite sizable for cities if you're having, hundreds of thousands of Airbnbs. So the Southeast actually likes it. They have specific zones that they call, commercial or short-term rental zones where you can get a hotel permit. And at that point, you're just operating just like a hotel, right? So fully legal, fully basically okay to run a short-term rental. That's kind of why we're moving towards these markets that have a bigger appetite for it and see the value that it brings in to the city.
Yeah, I love that. And because what it comes down to is it's no longer, I think the space has matured past the novelty, and this is cool, and you can actually, we can just make some extra money, to now a legit business. And so meaning now that you're having permits and other things like that, it's a whole different world, and it's scalable. So now it makes it interesting for both investors and for companies like yourself, and all the players involved, in my opinion.
Totally, yeah. It's a completely passive way. I mean, our goal is to make it as passive for owners as possible. So it's almost the same, if not better, than a long-term rental, because we're a management company and we deal with all the ins and outs and everything. But the upside you see is the increased revenue that you generate by being a short-term corporate housing type product.
Fantastic. So, Shiv, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Astro, because either they have some properties or they just want to learn more, what's the best route for them to reach out?
Yeah, totally. You can reach me on our website at www.experienceastro.com, or you can even email me at Shiv, at Hiv, at experienceastro.com. Those are the best ways.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Shiv, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing at Astro and serving as an inspiration, working that part-time, side business, and then made it into your main business and focus, and now you're rocking and rolling over there. So good stuff there, man. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, don't forget to subscribe, but also leave us some comments in the video. Let's not let the conversation end here. Let's move it on over to the YouTube community. Love to connect with you there. And Shiv, thanks again for coming on the show.